we've done studies in Zoe looking at snacking habits, and late night snacking, even if it's semi good, even if it was just nuts on its own, is not associated with good metabolic health, not associated with good microbes. During the day, it's probably less important. If you're having a healthy snack during your normal eating times, it's probably fine. So I think it's a nuanced answer here that. But if you're eating unhealthy snacks, and most snacks, 80% of snacks are ultra processed, and these protein bars we're seeing now, they're just dreadful.
If you had to pick an ideal diet that incorporates not all, but most of the principles, the guiding principles you're talking about, which one would you pick?
Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to caveat it, said I would like to personalize my diet first and take the Zoe test. But if I wasn't allowed to, I would probably go for a old-fashioned Mediterranean style diet. And that's before they had enormous amounts of pasta and pizza. So this is, when you used to have goat's cheese and a little bit of fish. They'd have meat or fish a couple of times a week, but it would be lots of fresh vegetables, lots of beans, lentils, those legumes. They're really big in traditional Mediterranean diets. Be getting a lot of fiber, lots of dairy. Dairy would be quite a big thing in that, a lot of it fermented. And they get lots of nuts and seeds, and the whole thing washed down with lots of olive oil, which we think has been shown in a number of studies now. That nuts, seeds, olive oil is a really good core to the diet, and much better than vegetable oils or coconut oils or peanut oils or anything else that's being used at the moment. So and even they seem to survive with a glass of red wine as well. So that's why I like it.
And how about moving to an extreme, the ketogenic diet? It's obviously shown some recent data to suggest it's protective for the brain and certain disorders that rely on good brain function and development. Can you comment on that as in respect to the microbiome?
Yeah, well, as you know, well, it's been used for decades, really, in epilepsy in children, and does have powerful effects on the brain that we still don't totally understand, but they really are impactful. So we know it works, and it certainly works in some people in terms of weight loss and helping them with type 2 diabetes. Now, for most people, though, having a diet that's 70% fat is virtually impossible to maintain for long periods of time. I've tried it. I couldn't hack it at all. I felt terrible. So I think there's only a small percentage of the population that can keep it up, who don't have type 2 diabetes. Those people who do like it, they're very like religious zealots going around saying how everyone should convert to it. But my problem is, after that initial phase of maybe some weight loss and feeling better, you're just hurting your gut, because you're starving your gut microbes, because there's very little in the ketogenic diet that is good for your microbial health, because fiber is very low in that group. They often get constipation and gut disorders. And so unless you're really careful, it's very hard to have sufficient keto, fat in there to keep your ketogenic state, whilst also keeping your gut happy. So by all means, I'm not against people trying it short term to see if that radically improves something, but I think they need to shift to a very high, much higher fiber diet to help their gut long term. Otherwise, they're going to get many other long term problems. But I think the main thing is most people can't handle it. So there's quite a personal effect to how you handle fats as well. As you know, as we discovered in our PREDICT studies, if there's a tenfold difference in how we all respond to fats, then it's logical that you might find some people get on with these diets,
right?
But most of us probably can't. So it should stay as a niche diet, not mainstream.
Now, what about snacking? Is this, I've read your book. Kev's also gone over your book, so we know how you feel about certain topics. Are you willing to universalize the idea of maybe cutting back on snacking, or do you think that's a little bit more personalized as well?
Well, it sort of depends. There's healthy snacking and there's unhealthy snacking, isn't there? So, what you're smiling? So, what's your go-to snack?
Trail mix. Trail mix without any of the chocolate in it, of course.
Well,
what is that? That's
again,
a lot
there
of
are healthy
nuts.
trail mixes and they're unhealthy. Some of them have lots of dried fruit in it, and raisin sultanas, which can be quite sugary.
Yeah.
So it can be quite sweet in some of them. And so if you're having those late at night, you say 10 o'clock in the night, you feel a bit hungry, you have that. That's not going to be good for you. So we've done studies in Zoe looking at snacking habits, and late night snacking, even if it's semi good, if it was just nuts on its own, is not associated with good metabolic health, not associated with good microbes. Mm-hmm. During the day, it's probably less important. If you're having a healthy snack during your normal eating times, it's probably fine. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a nuanced answer here. But if you're eating unhealthy snacks, most snacks, 80% of snacks are ultra processed, and these protein bars we're seeing now, they're just dreadful.
What's a good snack then? 80% of snacks are ultra processed. What do you snack on? Do you snack? B, what is it that you snack on?
Well, I'm not a big snacker, but if I'm presented with a bowl of peanuts or cashew nuts, I'll swallow them up. Okay. So mixed nuts. So if I'm traveling and there's not much to eat, I'll have a big bag of mixed nuts with me, and I'll eat those. Probably too many, but I will eat them. Try and carry an apple or a pear with me. I no longer would have a snack bar.
Right.
None of them really are healthy, and although they promise all kinds of things on the label, high protein and low calorie and energy giving and full of vitamins, they're all bad.